So I'm curious to know who's writing Dalen's storylines because whoever's writing the storylines, it feels to me like it's half baked and it's hurry come up. I think that you have a good story with what Dalen's son thing is, but if you play it too unrealistic, then it becomes extremely farcical, right? And you're not really playing to a farce because you're also having playing it very seriously. Is that the intention? Let's go. I don't know.
I've been dealing with a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
I just found out that I have a child.
What?
Yeah, he's 16.
Oh my God.
16. I was in a relationship a while ago and she just left one day. And I never knew why. I never understood why. I never heard from her again.
And you're hearing from her 16 years later, and you don't think that that's somewhat of a flag that you should like take up at all and say, you know what, maybe I need to look into um, what's going on. None of those things have come up.
And I just bumped into her recently.
Okay.
She told me that we have a son.
Dang. Yeah. So what you gonna do, man? How you gonna handle the situation?
So I'm still, between me and you, I'm processing it. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. And then on top of that, they're getting evicted.
What?
And the kid is 16 and you're just hearing all of these things. Just listen to the track and the argument of the storyline. So in other words, the writers are telling me again is that Dalen has moved from being a simp, the whole Amber thing, small simp, tiny. Then basically he goes to Noel, he gets dogged out, he doesn't learn, and he simps again. And then now another woman is coming with a child again, and there's no way for him to figure out at this point. His first move should be like a DNA test before anything else, even though he's also been through Anthony's situation. You see what I mean, writers? Like, the chronological sequence of it don't make any sense. How is he Anthony's friend again? I don't know.
So now I'm like, does my son have a place to stay? Do I let them move in with me?
So wait a minute. You said you're still processing it. What is it to process? What are you trying to process, Doc?
Well, I made a commitment to a young lady that I'm seeing.
Oh, so you in a relationship?
Not technically. We're seeing each other, but she really wants to have a child.
And you're processing it. So hold on. So a new child comes on with the woodwork that may be yours, right? That you haven't checked on it. But some woman before say, she wanted to have a kid. You promised her you'd probably have a kid. You haven't had a conversation with the woman as to what's going on. No. But you're processing it because why again? Writers is unbelievable. All I'm saying is that it's unbelievable as to the thought process of the actor, of the character is unbelievable. It makes sense. So in other words, Dylan got dumb again overnight.
She's at that age where it's either now or never. So we made the decision together to co-parent. But that was before I found out I had a son.
Oh wow.
Pastor Chris, so you see the predicament that I'm in.
There is no predicament. The only predicament is you'd have to pause whatever you have going on with Keysha because you'd have to explain to her what's happening. Then you need to solve the situation that you're in now. Because it's logical. Men think as logical as that. There's no way this could make Dalen an extremely illogical thinker. Okay, maybe if this is where I could accept this. If if the baby was say 1 year old and Dalen had just spent time with the mother, right? Then sure, it would make sense. You know what I mean? They say, oh well, him just sleep with the mother recently, so it's possible it could be his. This is 16 years ago, and there's no way for him to even think of a DNA test first. Him just accept it right after the cue, even though he was the same one that advised Anthony to get a DNA test with Sheila when Sheila was having her kid. You see what I mean? So may I say, the levels of sequencing doesn't make sense. So him smart in one regard and then get dumb again in another regard. In other words, Dylan just a dumb. I guess it's done.
Like, I don't know, am I supposed to step up and take care of this This son that I have
You're supposed to get a DNA test.
and his mother? Do I walk away from a commitment that I made to? I don't know.
That's not a predicament. This is a very weak conflict, writers. I'm calling you. I'm gonna call you right now, writers. This conflict is extremely weak because it it's too unrealistic. That's the point that I'm raising. The storyline in itself is too unrealistic, so it makes it very weak. It's a very weak conflict. Like it doesn't move you. But all right,
Let
okay.
me say this. So the child is 16 years old, is from a past relationship. Did you love this woman?
I did.
Do you still love this woman?
I do.
But man, let me say this to you. Love is more than a feeling. It sounds like at the end of the day, man, you're going to have to make a decision.
So Pastor Chris, who is supposed to be the resident counselor, has not even advised Dalen. Well, Dalen, so you just got a son. Well, Dalen, I'm not going to shoot anything on the kid. But maybe you want to start at getting a DNA test first to establish paternity. Make sure it's your kid. Then you proceed to whatever it is that you have. So you have all the information on the board. Pastor Chris is supposed to be a counselor. So now Pastor Chris looks like he doesn't know what he's doing for counseling. Writers want to put a storyline together that makes no sense. You're so much discrediting and discredit the characters. Then that's what I'm talking about.
You know, the scripture says, even choose this day whom you will serve. If God be God, then follow him. So you're going to have to make a hard choice, a hard decision, because if you don't make a choice, you're going to find yourself falling into another frame of mind called a double-minded man, which means you're going to create instability in everybody's life, bro. So at some point, you're going to have to sit down and weigh what it is you really want.
Again, so Pastor Chris' credibility is now shot because the truth is, Pastor Chris is here talking biblical texts and, using biblical ways and means of explaining his counseling, while you don't have all of the necessary and pertinent facts on the kid. In other words, if what Pastor Chris is saying is correct, that means that any woman could come up from out of the woodwork. Any woman could come from anywhere, right? And she could pretty much just say, you know what, this is your kid, just father it. And pastor, and it's perfectly fine, according to the church. Writers, please. No, not bigger. You guys have a very good thing going, but okay, you know what, I need to leave it go.
So my opinion would be, if you still love the young lady that has your son, maybe that should be a road you look at again, because she already has your son. And the scripture says that a man that doesn't take care of his own children is worse than an infidel. So I think at this point, you have to weigh it.
But how do you know it is his kid? There is nothing that established that it's his kid. Right, what you've just done is you've made Pastor Chris look like him and him at all. He's just now look like him. It's almost like him not enough for counsel. Remember, my name is a counselor, so his duty is to assist people to use the best possible data in the sphere of things and to make an informed decision. Which part of Dalen's decision would be informed if he just went in and took care of a 16-year-old son that he's not sure if it's his or not, regardless of what's taking place. A DNA test don't take a very long time to happen. So this don't make sense either. So that's what I'm saying again. It's almost like when I have a good story and instead of just write certain pieces in the story, I'm going to put all sorts of other stuff on it. Look, not too much there, you know what I mean? You don't even need the Keysha scenario is not even a conflict. Because it can't be a conflict when it comes to a man that has an actual kid out there. It's not a conflict. It's no longer a conflict. It just wouldn't be, right? in the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't be a conflict. The conflict with Deja is already there. It's a son he never said before, 16 years old, whatever it is. Maybe if you make the kid his, then when the kid becomes his, you have way more parts to go with the storyline. But the Keysha piece don't even make no. So I don't know what he's contemplating. It just makes it look very ridiculous. It makes it look as though like it's like it's a slapdash storyline basically. That's what it feels like, right? But again, this is just only talking from a very, what you call it, theatrical space. But you know what? Let me put on my theatrical hat. Ladies and gentlemen, you've watched this. In your mind, does it feel realistic? Let me ask you that question. Give me a take, like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm going to talk to you also.